All right, let's get into the weekly watch list. Before I do so, make sure to come over to ZTRADEZ.net. Check out our terms and conditions page. If you agree to it, feel free to keep watching this video. If you don't watch the video, and don't join the Discord that's completely free, that is in the description of this video below. Now, before I jump into this, I just want to kind of briefly go over my views here. With St. Patrick's Day, historically, the historic data, it's around 80% of the time. I've attached it to the newsletter, two case studies done. One I mentioned in a blog that I wrote on ZTRADEZ. Another one is, I don't know who did it. The info's in there, but it was going back to the 80s, the S&P. I don't know why on St. Patrick's Day, because nobody's working and drinking beer. I don't understand what that has to do with anything. I understand Christmas. I understand Thanksgiving, kind of. People are traveling. It's good for airlines. Things are moving, I guess. I don't know. Hotels, yeah, people are buying stuff. They're out spending more money. But, local pubs, I don't understand. I got to read into it a little bit more and find out why. I do have the data on, and it is a fact, it's around 80% of the time we're green at, like let's say St. Patty's Day falls on a Saturday and a Sunday, the following Monday's green, or if it's on St. Patty's Day, we're green. I remember that because I don't play the first quad witching of the year. We usually blast because we push through it. If St. Patty's Day lands on quad witching, which that's not going to be the case Friday, but I remember in 2022, I think it was, or 2021, that was the case. But regardless, I think it was 2022. Anyways, I think we're going to be bullish. I'm going to go over why. I'm going to go over what I'm looking at based off the EMAs. Dailies, when we're plummeting, you don't want to look at short-term time frames. When it's highly volatile and quick movements, dailies and 4 hours, you want to look at the weekly after things have been extended for a while and catch those reversals, possible reversals. Anything can happen. Remember, if more tariff news comes out, then that's bad or retaliatory from the EU or China. That's who you got to worry about. Then that's a different case. We could just go bear again, right? But Canada's bluffing. They can't. They're acting like they can. They're beating their chest like they can't hold out. It won't work. EU can for a little bit longer. China will, regardless of the consequences. So Canada was beating their chest, shutting off power. Trump came back with more tariffs and they backed out, which is a good thing for both of us. They've been taking advantage of us for a very long time. If you look at the data going back over the last 5 years, it is disgusting. And they kind of deserve the tariffs, although it's been very painful. I'm out of everything. I've just started to scale back in IBIT and a little bit of NVDA, still in gold, treasuries, and silver. But let's start off with SPY here. I am worried about China. I'm very worried about China. My view on tariffs will be a separate video. It's not all the same. I don't just, I can't say. I don't know if I fully agree with doing it to China. There may be other ways to go about it. I agree with the EU and Canada. They deserved it. They had it coming. We almost have a hammer right here on the 50 EMA on SPY. Almost. You'd want that body a little bit higher with no wick. You want the wick bottom below it. You want no wick on top, although it's close enough in my experience. It doesn't have to line up perfectly. A lot of times it'll end up playing out. But you want that wick twice as long as the body, which it is. And you would want no wick on top. There's a little wick. Doesn't mean it's not going to go up because of that. No, it passed it, sucked up, and closed on it. This time, I'm not looking at a dinky daily. I'm looking at the weekly. Right on the 50. That's a big deal. I'm not 100% positive it's going to bounce, but I would say I'm leaning about 85%. And I am long right now on some stuff. HIMS, this is a little bit outside of top 10 of the S&P. We had some support right here. This was resistance. You can see where we popped up. If you can see past the gray shaded zone, we rejected, tried to break up, came back, closed back down, passed it, finally broke it, and then closed on that resistance that's now acting as support. Did I say that right? It was resistance, yes. Then when we shot up, now it's acting as support. We were right on the 20. Where was I? with this beautiful setup here. Could have locked in for, you know, 3 months out, 4 months out. It was only $25 stock. Could have bought 30s or something like that for 6 months out. Forgotten about it, right? With a massive explosion like that. Well, we had the same setup here. Rejection, came back down, came back up. That was just way too much. Way too much. Blow off top, pretty much. That's not necessarily a blow off top. I take that back. We can go into that in a separate video, but we were just going parabolic. It was due for a correction. And you can see where this makes it a lot easier to see. And you can see where we have now come down and we're right at that zone again. And I'd like to see us come up. I need to see us I want to see us above 34 to about 35 before I go along, and we could have a decent pop up into the 40s, in my opinion. Microsoft, not too excited about this. I'm more excited with this watch list based on the video as a whole. Let's make this fix this a little bit here. At the market as a whole, because everything's on EMAs on the weeklies. All of it. Let's check the candlestick patterns. We got nothing here. We're sitting right here on the 100 EMA with almost a hammer, and I think that we could pop up a little bit. I don't see us going past the 50. If we did achieve the 50, I think that the whole market, because that's not going to do it instantly unless there was crazy news that came out, then I believe that it would be time for us to be looking for P's again and that we were going to peel over. What I also have on watch, Bitcoin, and whoops, I've scaled back into IBIT right off the 50. Beautiful. IBIT, I called that a week ago and I got back in. If you guys remember my watch list from last week, I said we were going to go bull this week. It started happening around Tuesday. Filled this gap right here, and then we popped up pretty much almost a hammer. I'm looking for that. We got the 20 there. I'll judge what I'm going to do once we achieve 50, if we're going to snap that at all or not. Daily, we're right on anchored VWAP. We need to snap it. It's got a lot to go through. It's going to have to break through all of this. 100, the 100, the 20, the 50. And we have that top line up there. So it's got a lot to break through. Bitcoin itself. We'll see what happens. Inflation's coming in great, although I don't know if CPI is going to come in great next month, because there's going to be tariffs there. We'll see. Energy's going down, mortgage rates going down, inflation's going down, right? So that's a good sign as of now. Don't want to speak too soon. Again, let's look at the data next month, where everything that happened this month is baked in. Amazon. Let me get off the noisy daily. Doesn't that look better? Beautiful. Let's take a look at it. Pretty simple, right? Self-explanatory. Look at this right here. I need to see us above that. 204.30. You can basically say 205. And I'd love to see us come up where? Right here. Let's take a look at that. I want to see us right there. That would be my PT right here, 215 over the next couple weeks. I think we're going to get a relief bounce in April, but I still think we're going to go down. When? What comes after April? May, which is also known as walkaway May. Let's take, I don't think it's just going to come down for that reason. I just think we're not out of the woods yet. Let's take a look at Goldman Sachs, as well as a lot of other banks, big ones that actually matter here. Pretty much a hammer. Okay. Indicators right off the 50. Look at that little baby candlestick there. Isn't it cute? What would be nicer is if this finished up, right? It finished with the body up, showing buying momentum at the end of the week. But we are here, and I would not be buying puts on that type of candlestick on the 50. That would be crazy. Would I be surprised if we went bear? No, but I expect us to go bull PT, maybe the 20, if we could go that high. That would be crazy if we went that high in a week. Let's take a look at a daily here. Oh, see, this is why we're not out of the woods yet, and anything bad could still happen. There's the 200. right? We're pushing on it. We have not passed it. We got anchor VWAP 5. This would be more conservative PT here. I hate how it smashes it. Oh my gosh. Just crushes it on this chart. PT would be, although these 3 candlesticks, that's a bullish setup there. Anchored VWAP 564. $20 move on Goldman can easily happen. We'll see if that happens. JPM, let's take a look at JP Morgan. Somewhat of a similar setup here. We're past the 200 on that. Let's take a look at the weekly. Pretty much the same setup. Looks great. Right off the 50. We'll see what happens. Let's also take a look at some of the other banks. People overlook Wells Fargo. That looks great. Oh, and it finished bullish too, to the upside on this body. Right, if it's a bearish candlestick, guys, if it's red, meaning it was a down candle, where the body is at the bottom is where it closed. If it's green, where the body is at the top is where it closed. Right? That's showing a lot of buying. So, and we're right off the 50. Beautiful. 71 could easily see where all these bodies were over here at 76, in my opinion. Back, there was a lot of options activity coming in on Bank of America. Did this close green or red? Close green. Little baby hammer there above the 100. If I could have bought calls right down there, that would have been great. I expect upside on that. So, I am leaning bullish next week. This is my watch list. This is everything that I'm watching. There was what? Tesla. That's right. Oh my gosh. Look at that candlestick. Look, that is a hammer right there. That is a hammer. It doesn't matter the color. It matters the shape. That is a hammer. Look how long that wick is with that little body there. This thing's fixing to go. I believe it could easily see the body of this last candle on the weekly prior. 261, eyes closed. I've got my eyes on this. What I have taken a position on, because this placement right here looks sketch, like it could yank back down, but in order to reduce theta, I have gotten in TSLLs, and I am in Cs, meaning I'm in calls. Beautiful little hammer down there. Look at where we are. We're at a median point right here, where it's been here, 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 and here, and over in here. This is an area that I'm very comfortable buying. This thing was $41 December 16th, before Powell rocked everything. So, which I somewhat agree with him. I wanted downside. Do it, pal. It was painful. I definitely lost a lot of my profit. I had some profit on stuff. I cut a lot of stuff in October because we had QE unwinding, and the tariffs come in, and I know things would be shifting around and be a little bit tough. I took some profits, was out most of it in October, about half of my holdings, equity, was out the rest in early February, and now we're in a zone that I could slowly start adding. I just don't think we're out of the woods. I bought the 10s here for this week, so this could have an easy pop-up again. Where it could go, let me look at a shorter term time frame. Gosh, that thing just filled all gaps. There's still, by the way, on Tesla, I'd love to see this thing over 10. It's a leverage fund. It's hard to tell when you're looking at indicators on that. Tesla, what I'd love to see is this gap down here get filled. See that little gap from right there to right there? What is that? 145. Oh my gosh, would I love that. So I hope this thing legs down and fills that gap. Could happen. And if it happens, it would probably be around May, into May or something like that. Summer's always, wish-washy. So the boom time is always right after September. October is a coin toss. Sometimes it can be bullish, sometimes bearish. Although last September was great, but October's choppy, can go either way. November and December are just boom, all the way into January. February, we usually get a pullback, and then a recovery. In April, May, we dip again. Summer's a coin toss outside of IWM in July. But if you guys like this content, make sure to like and follow for more. If you guys are not signed up for the newsletter, I'm going to have a write-up for this in the description of this video below.